here we are again. Hello, every single one of you, family of light. My name is Eliza, this is Andrea, and we are here in the Mayan jungle, surrounded by beautiful temples, ruins, not that even much ruins, they're actually extremely well preserved, and there is a magnificent energy that flows over here from that space. Let me show you around so we can pick it up. That beautiful energy. You can sense that magnificent flow. You can sense the ease and love that it flows here so easily. And we wanted to talk about something that happened on the first day when we actually drove in. So 2 hours away, we're staying in the middle of the jungle, Maya jungle. It's actually called Jungla Maya. We're staying in the middle of the jungle in a beautiful little house, cottage. What are they called here?
Little village.
Little village. Well, not that even much of a village.
Like a hut.
Yeah. And it is absolutely magnificent to be surrounded by this energy. We were staying in Mexico City. We were staying in Playa del Carmen for the past 2 weeks. And then we are here. And the energy is just magnificent and extremely beautiful. And I wanted to talk about picking up fears. So if you're one of those people, like myself in the past, yourself as well in the past, who is living entirely fear-driven, probably not even knowing about it, everything you do is based on avoiding the fear, getting away from the fear, or closer to the state of safety and love instead of fear. And if this is your journey, I would like to share with you something, because there's so many of us on this spiritual journey who are constantly riddled with fear. Someone is gonna throw maybe an idea that at the end of December, the world is gonna end, and then all of a sudden we are panicking and we are living in survival. And we were talking in previous video about living in those lower 3 chakras, which are responsible for survival, but very often they are entirely blocked with past trauma, unprocessed emotions, stuck old dark energies, and all of that kind of unprocessed energy, emotion energy in motion, that keeps us stuck. So much unworthiness. In my past, it was just my daily bread. Unworthiness, guilt and shame, not good enoughness to the core. And it took me a while to heal it and realize that it is all about embracing the wholeness. That it isn't just about living in the top chakras, it is the wholeness. So when we drove here, I would like to hear as well your experience when we drove into the jungle and Maya jungle, because I started receiving visions, I started receiving fears. All of a sudden I was so afraid being in the middle of the jungle and seeing a panther, black panther. That's what I saw. I started seeing these Mayan people from different stages of the history in the past, different dress-ups. There is one particular man who was constantly standing there on the side of the road, just like that, waiting for me. And I got afraid. When we entered that house, I got afraid, and that was not the house. And it took me a little bit until we sat down in meditation and we've done a healing session, shared healing session between one and another. And I started realizing that I'm simply picking up someone else's fears. And this isn't even today's fears. This is the past fears that they are still floating there as a thought forms, and they are embedded into the ground. And that was a breakthrough, because straight away I knew that there is no need for me to identify with it. And at the beginning I got that information as well. It's like, this is not my fear. I'm not afraid to go out there for a walk. I know I am safe. Yet I can feel this fear floating through me entirely. So if probably I wouldn't be where I am on my journey, I would own that fear, I would make it my own, and I would be paralyzed by it. But that didn't happen. And then I got another piece of information, Eliza, you're experiencing that, to exactly share with others that most of the fears are like that. So if we are brought up in a household where the mother is afraid of going into a relationship with a man or a woman, you're gonna pick up that fear and you're probably gonna make it your own, because as a child, like a sponge, you soak it all up. So it might be not even your own fear, not your own experience, yet you're making your own because you are in that space. What other fears you would say you picked up, that you know they were not your own ones. They were coming from an environment, not even your own experience.
Yeah, I think just the collective, because the collective is still majority. Your average person is in fear with the state of the world, with what's going on. So it's in the collective. So you can pick up these fears, these frequencies every day. And if you're not careful, they can consume you.
Yes.
And you can all of a sudden spiral into the collective fear. And then that is your frequency, and that's your energetic signature that you're now broadcasting out into the quantum field. And you're creating from that level of consciousness. So everything in your reality starts to match that frequency that you're broadcasting, because you've picked up this fear from the collective and it's engulfed you.
Yeah, you're all of a sudden becoming it without the awareness that you actually have a choice to not identify with that fear and not making your own. And yes, it takes practice to become aware to that point, to be able to figure it out straight away or within the same day that, oh, by the way, this is not even my fear. I don't have to own it. I don't have to become it. And that fear doesn't have to own me and my reactions towards that fear from now on. And many people in spiritual community pick up others people's fear. We soak them up into ourselves because we don't know how to show up for ourselves. And I'm going to pass a beautiful message of internal healing towards all of us, because this is how we create the change within our own world, within our own environment, and within our own realities. There was just no way for me to become a healer that I am without me healing myself first, without me going through the over and over again stages of, maybe let's call it peeling the onion. And fears is something I was always running away from facing. Like, there was no way you would tell me in the past, sit down and write down your fears, because it was too challenging to do it on my own. It was much more easier for me to do it with someone else, to sit down and look at those fears and use someone else's help to help me figure out the best way for me to deal with that fear. And the funny part is that majority of them are fancied. They're not happening here and now. This is just fantasizing the worst case scenario for the future, to the obsessive point where it's embedded and it creates anxiety attacks. This is how anxiety has been created for me in the past. And finding out how that was created by going through the fears enabled me to release that anxiety and stay aware from now on. And some days I'm really good about it, others, so it depends on my own journey, my own level of awareness. If you have some massive fear that you're riddled with, let me reassure you that you can spend years walking around it and avoid it and creating false senses of security cages within your world to avoid that fear, but that's never gonna go away, because the more you avoid that, the more you place it on a pedestal above you, and you're always going to be below it. This fear is always going to be your master, okay? So if you have a fear of, let's say, maybe fear of traveling, right? Maybe there is a fear of traveling, but this is one of your big dreams. Maybe you're afraid what's gonna happen at this place when something is not planned. Maybe you have a massive fear of simply being with yourself, being on your own. There is so many people who are unable to be with themselves because they truly believe, by taking on themselves that carried guilt and shame, that they are bad to the core, and they are not. No one is. You are divine as you are, exactly the way you are. But when you are clinging onto that fear and that old belief, this is what you will create more. So I'm going to invite every single one of you right now to look at your biggest fear. Better sooner than later. And if you need help, use help. Hire someone. There is so many beautiful souls, myself included, who are here doing what we're doing, so others can receive that help the way I received that help in the past. And there is no more beautiful adventure than when we invest our love, our time, our money into ourselves and who we are becoming in this present moment. We're going to finish with that. And we're going to invite you all to look at your stuff in that space of open heart, in that space when you are meditating, when you're training your own body, your own nervous system to be safe with yourself, and allowing yourself to experience something new without giving the meaning that, oh, it feels uncomfortable, but because it's new, it means it's bad. No, it's not. No, it's not. You can give the meaning, it's new, it's exciting, and I'm expanding through it every day. In every way, I'm becoming better and better and better. Just that kind of little meaning and assignment you can add to everything, and you all of a sudden will become entirely empowered. You will take your power back, because there will be no experience that would be able to take your power away from you, because you will learn from everything. We're going to finish with that. Let's have a look. I'm gonna get a serious tan after this one. Thank you so much for doing that with me, showing up together for yourself, for the tribe every day. I'm going to link Andrea's group here in the description. Come and join us for this magnificent, out of this world meditations. They are so phenomenal. There is a huge, massive frequency that is created every time we are tuning in with your meditations. And just thank you for changing so many people's lives. So many people's lives have been changed permanently for good, thanks to you being you, and as well taking that action every day. Thank you. Okay, lovely. Lots of love to every single one of you. Comment below, let us know what is your biggest fear. Let's de-shame fear, because it is a part of the experience. My biggest fear was to show up myself to others as I am, because I thought that's not good enough and I'll be rejected on a spot. That was my biggest fear. And it's no longer has its power over me, which is amazing. Lots of love to you all. Bye bye.